You are live. We're here.
Good afternoon, adventurers. You know what time it is. It's Friday. And you know, here at the Collective, that can mean only one thing. It's 1 o'clock, and it's time for John's Dungeon Corner. Woo! And my co-host, that's right, I'm John, the host, and my co-host,
Donna.
woo! And we are here to talk about dungeons and
Dragons.
dragons. Because we don't want to be so mean with it.
They're friendly
Oh, man. Yeah, so good stuff. All right, so it's Friday.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a couple things first, and then we're going to get into the meat and drinking things. So on the table, I brought out a couple things that just thought I'd mention. Remember we talked about the miniatures last week? I was talking about miniatures coming back out and a bunch of them being out there. So I brought some of the bigger ones that came back in. So the Dire Troll came back, okay? And that's really looking good. And here's a painted one that you can always come and look at. This is actually a painted one, okay? Kind of like a green, and it looks really cool. You want to take it up there?
Mhm.
And that was, of course, painted by Fiona. Look at
Very
that, huh?
cool.
Very cool.
Look at
Very mean looking. Woohoo! That looks good. Looks
Stay
good. All right.
focused.
And then, of course, we have the Ogre Zombie came back in, and here's a painted Ogre Zombie. It's actually kind of cool.
Let's see if I can get it.
Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Woo.
That's cool, yeah?
That's really good. Yeah.
All right. Oh, look, she said hi. Hi,
Hi,
Friday. Happy
Sarah.
Friday to you, too.
Happy
Friday. And last but not least, here is the Minotaur Labyrinth Guardian. Now, if you want to ever do a maze kind of thing or a dungeon that leads to, you're not quite sure where, look at this guy.
Oh,
Oh,
can I get
man.
him? Not
That's just
glossy?
awesomeness, right? So that's the Labyrinth Guardian Minotaur. I
Woo.
love it.
There we go.
I mean, he looks cool.
Really cool.
And then when you paint him up, he has the flaming sword. I mean, maybe for a higher level dungeon, but wow, it's amazing. I really like this miniature.
Minotaurs are fun.
So, and there's a bunch more out there. Okay, they come pre-primered, ready to be painted. So I just thought I'd throw that out there for you.
And join us on a paint day.
Yeah,
I don't
first
know.
first Saturday of the month.
First Saturday, second
And
Sunday,
second-
third Wednesday.
Look at that, she's got it all down.
Pink.
We got the first, second, third. First Saturday, second Sunday, third Wednesday.
I think so. I think
What?
that's right. I'm pretty sure.
That's a whole lot of painting, ain't it?
That's a lot of painting.
We've been to one of those with Fiona. She's amazing. We had a great
It's a
time.
lot of fun.
So, of course, Dice Towers. If you don't have one yet, you should. There's all kinds of Dice Towers here at the Collective. Of course, this is my favorite, the Purple Dragon. It's just so cool.
That thing's
There's a
piece.
blue one, a red one.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. I mean, they're really
And
nice,
that's
nice
not
and
some
heavy.
cheap 3D printed. This is
No.
like ceramic.
I mean-
this is good. Yeah.
Knock, knock.
And it's
Those there.
it lights up.
That's right. It does light up.
I don't know if there's batteries, but it
No,
lights up.
you know, it's brand new, so probably not because they got to pull that little tab out, and
Yeah.
I am not going to do that. So that's not my thing to do. So yeah. Anyway, there's that. Okay, and of course, hey, restock of dice, lots of dice. I always say that restock of dice, but you know what? The other day it was funny. I was here I just come in. I think it was like a Thursday, right before the show, because I was talking. I came in to pick something else, talking to Brendan, and a gentleman comes up and says, "Hey, I was looking for these particular dice." Da, 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 da. Well, you know what? They come in and they go out.
Mhm.
I hope he came back and got them, you know, a day later. I mean, he went and got some dice in it, but he was looking for a particular set that he had seen. And, you know, these dice, they're always making new dice. And sometimes there's restocks and sometimes they decide, okay, we made enough of this. Let's move on to something else.
Right.
So
And
get
there's
it while the getting's good.
Really unique dice that are in little treasure chests that are mimics.
Oh, yeah, those are really neat.
Those I don't know how long we're gonna have them. So
Those are
get
really
one
cool.
before they run out. There, I think every single one of them looks different.
Yep,
There's
they
really tons and tons of variety when it comes to those.
Yep, and you've got
Super
your
cool.
regular ones that are like really cool, marbled and that. And then there's those super sharp, precision, sharp corner ones.
Yeah.
Woo! Those are
You
nice.
throw the D4s down and it'll prevent intruders.
Yeah,
So-
caltrops. They turn into ninja caltrops.
Yeah, that's
What?
exactly right.
Oh my lord. Okay, and last but not least, look, let's talk about these battle mats.
Yeah.
I brought them all. There's a restock. Oh my gosh, I already bought like 3 or 4. So here's your basic one. You know, this is really nice. It comes in 2. There's like a sandy and like a stone one. Okay, it flips over,
Mhm.
and then there are mystery pack. Oh, we have to mention the mystery packs for Starlet. We have to back up everybody. The mystery packs. Yes, there are quite a few mystery packs. There's mini ones, the ones that have the metal in it, have a full set of dice, the one that are all different kinds of dice. All right, yes. And
Happy Friday, Rena.
happy Friday, love. And you know, they Sarah and Antonio and Jason just love buying them on Wednesdays and opening them up, and
Yeah,
they usually roll 20, so I don't know what to tell you. Anyway,
they're
all
a
right,
lot
so
of fun, but I'm like, if I don't get green, I'm just giving them away.
actually they do that a lot too. So
Yeah.
they go your basic mat boards, and then Donna was showing you all the other mat boards. Run those up there. There's some really cool
I'll
ones
show you the
that have
back
not
so
been
you
here
see
before.
them.
That's neat. Which was that one you got there? Well, that's the
This
Ancient
one,
Dungeon. Now,
Ancient Dungeon.
it's really cool because the Ancient Dungeon, there's all kinds of dungeons, but there's the ancient one, and then there's this, what they call the enormous one. So the regular mat board is how big? It's on the back. How big is a normal mat board?
Great question. 24 by 30.
Okay, so that one's 24. The enormous one is 30 by 46. So it's almost
Ooh.
it's 2.5 feet by almost 4 feet. And it's huge. Look at that. And it's
That's
just
really
awesome.
cool.
And there's a shattered dungeon one, a flooded dungeon one. And you can put these map boards together and create this huge dungeon.
Yeah. So
But what do you got
there's-
there?
This one's the docks.
Oh, the docks. That's really nice.
That's really cool. A town and a dock.
Oh no, that was actually pub crawl. That's the pub crawl.
Pub crawl.
It's one set by because a lot of people had talked about, oh well, there's never anything near the coastline, there's never near a river. So they did this. That one came out particularly so that you can put it next to an ocean or a lake or a river. So that's really cool. That's why I brought that one out. And then there's this one. This is really neat. It's a little village square. Show them that one and then flip it over and show them the two sides. It's actually cool. Flip it over
Village
for them.
Square.
And then on the back, you've got it where you're looking at it from the top side without, and then like with the roofs removed. So that's a really neat. So you show it when it's outside, and when you go inside the buildings, you flip it over. I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's really neat. It gives
That's
you.
the first time I've seen something like that.
And then this is one of the new forests. Was actually it's really neat because you've got a clearing, in the middle and open it up, and then you got all these trails winding through it.
There we go.
Yeah, I know it's
There's
kind of
like
crazy
layers.
because it's got the plastic on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but here's the
Can't open it.
basic one you can draw on. And the nice thing about these, you can do dry erase or wet erase.
Yeah.
All right. So now that that's out of the way, oh, this is fun.
My
Look,
favorite.
that's Antonio lives by these. The
Yeah.
giant map book of battle maps. They have all three in, and this one just got
This one
revised.
has 62.
It's got
pages.
62 in it. It's got a couple of extra ones that the original did not come out with to make it more complete. Now, they have
Yeah.
Giant Book of Battle Maps 1, which is what you're looking at, 2, and 3. So you can only imagine what you can do if you had all three books. I mean, you can just flip it around and they go together. Oh, it's just really
And then
nice.
they've got the cyber world.
Oh, yeah,
and
you
they've
got the
they're coming
futuristic
up with some
one, all
good
kinds
stuff.
of things.
Obviously, this is all I'm investing in for DMing from now on. I'm not buying.
Oh, I love these. I have them both.
You have every
The-
single one.
No, I'm missing a few. That's why I have to get a couple more.
Oh,
Then I have them all. No, not really. There's
I
some.
complete the collection.
Listen, there's a few of them out there that I would buy used if I could find them because they're really cool.
That's actually
Okay.
not a bad idea.
No, it isn't. Not really.
Buy some used.
But
It's a
if
good way
you
to get
find them,
started.
if people even part with them and they're in good shape. So,
Yeah.
but I always get them when they come out new. I am chasing them. Like these right here that you see here. These that have the big Pathfinder in red. These are classic maps that had been printed. They're reprinting, and that's why you haven't seen them in a while. Like the pub crawl one, you haven't seen that. I haven't seen this in forever. And believe it or not, I got this one. This is the Ancient Dungeon. I don't even know when this came out, but I didn't have it, so I got it. That's what it is. All right, so let's talk about the show. So today we're going to talk about a lot of little things, okay? There's no big one topic, and that's why the title of today's show is all the things that, what was it? All the little things. So here we go. Before we jump in there, let me tell you about Wednesday nights. We have a lot of Dungeons. Hey, how's it going? We're live. Come and say hello to everybody out in Dungeons and Dragons land.
These guys are from Virginia.
John is just ready for any situation the players
Welcome.
choose. From Virginia, well, come on out. Welcome to Florida. Come say hi to everybody. We're live. Come and introduce yourselves.
What's up? Hey guys, I'm the Striking Dog. How you guys doing? From Virginia.
All right. Come and say hello.
Hey,
Hey, tell them who you are.
Matthew from Virginia.
All right. So they came to visit and check out the store, and here we are live. The bunch of people see it afterwards because 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So
There's
Yeah.
10,000 live people watching right
yeah,
Let's go.
10,000.
Watching on the
Hey,
other
so you
side
guys
of the
play
world.
D&D then?
Play D&D. I DM for roughly 20 years now.
Look at that. And yourself?
Yeah.
New player.
Minimal.
New
experience.
player. All right. Well, that's okay. We welcome you.
Welcome.
Welcome to the fold, and may a dragon never catch you.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
right.
Both these guys are DMs, resident DMs.
Fantastic.
We've
Every
moved in.
Wednesday.
See that little hut back there? No.
Yeah.
I said, well, thank you.
That's
Welcome.
amazing.
Welcome,
You
welcome.
guys have a good show.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
guys.
All right, so look at that. See, we got visitors from Virginia, Dungeon Masters and Players. And talking about that, so on Wednesday nights, we have the Wednesday night Dungeons and Dragons meet where there's like 5 or 6 games going on. And I'm going to tell you what, it's not enough. It's just not enough, is it?
We have so many people wanting to join every single week, and all of our tables are pretty much maxed out. There are DMs that run 6 or 7 person tables, and they're really adamant about like that's all they can handle. I have 10 people at my table.
I have 8 to 9,
You have 8 or 9 depending on your week.
15.
Elliot is
10.
running a 20 plus person table.
Yeah,
at this
it's
point
too
because
much.
He
It's
just
too much.
really wants everyone to have a chance
Yes.
to play. So if you are a DM
Yep.
and you're available Wednesday nights, we would love to have you, and there are benefits.
There are perks. So check this out. If you come in DM, the biggest perk, which I think is amazing, every time that someone in your game purchases anything D&D related, so from as simple as a die to a set of dice to a miniature to a book to anything that has to do with Dungeons and Dragons, in your campaign book, you will get 1 point. What does that mean, 1 point? Okay. It means this. Each point is worth $1. So if you have a group of 10 people and they each buy dice in one night, if they buy dice, miniatures, this, that, the other, you have 10 points that equal $10 that you can go spend for miniature. And I do. I'm going to tell you, I swear by that book. I've been able to buy my flip maps with it. I've been able to buy dice for players that don't have them. It's really neat because it's really cool when a DM that you just sat down to play at his table and you come back and he says, here, these are for you. What? I always go, what's your favorite color? They go, okay, purple. All right. And I'll say, hold on, I'll be right back. You guys chill for just a second. While somebody's helping them do their character, then I'll come back and say, here you go. Those are for you.
Yeah.
Purple dice. Here.
Those are
Those are yours.
Well, they really should be for you since you are the purple dice.
Yeah, okay, we'll give them. I'll keep them myself.
And there's dinosaurs in
There's
them.
no green ones. Yeah, they had dinosaurs in them, so no dinosaurs for you today. Oh, Sarah sat there and said John is just ready for any situation the players choose. We tend to go sideways to the to the plan. So that's why I have all the map boards. If something goes sideways, in fact, I'll tell you about what happened Wednesday night in map boards and how cool it is to have them. But anyway,
So come be a DM. You
DM,
get to be,
yes.
You get to start a monster fund as long as you are a member. So we'll talk about membership benefits.
well, let's
as
talk about
well.
membership benefits. Why not?
So you get from your first, even if you're not a member, you get a stamp card. So every $10 you spend, you get a stamp, and that stamp, I think you need 15 of them to get $10 off.
Yep.
So you end up saving more money than you really think you are because it ends up going towards another item at
That's
the end.
right.
You get a better stamp card and more discounts and
Then
free
there's the
items
ultimate.
every month if you are a member. And you only have to pay once per year, and I forgot how much.
It's
I was gonna
okay.
ask,
If you
but-
guys want to know the details, call up the store, come by. We're just letting you know that there's a lot of benefits to coming here to the collective. They make gaming affordable and fun.
Right.
Okay, and that's a great thing. There's all kinds of presents, but we just gotta want to throw all that stuff out there. But the Wednesday thing is great. I mean, think about it, DMs. Let's say you've been trying to get that $75, I think the Warlock tiles, or $75 whatever, $100. Okay, so you save it up, and if you got a group of 10, that means that each of them will buy 10 items. You can go get that whatever $100 whatever it was for free. I mean, I don't know who else does that. Hey, Willie, what's happening?
And you can use multiple discounts in one transaction as long as it's one.
Well, we're not going to explain. We're just here to tell you about the Dungeon Master Fund.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not. We'll let you explain it because that gets a little, and certain things have special, and it gets crazy. So sideways, like when we found ourselves battling robots who didn't take damage with a 26. Okay, different game, but yes. And I wasn't running that game, by the way. See, they always try to blame me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How dare you?
and I wasn't smiling. See, no, I know.
And
All right,
was.
so here we
I
go.
was enjoying myself.
So my brother's on from New York. Look at that. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's kind of harsh, but here we go. So let's talk about a couple of. Now we got all that out of the way, right?
Yes.
Oh, one last thing. Dungeon Masters. For those of you who don't have your own books, look at that. See what that says right there? That's a store copy. That means that you can come in
Yes.
and borrow this book to run your game. And there goes the
That
player's
one,
handbook.
That's a store copy as well.
Okay, and there's a monster. I just don't want to bring all the books up here, but you can borrow these books while you're here and then just return them when you're done. So you don't have to invest anything. You just show up and start running your game. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's get to the meat and drink of things.
All right.
One. So many little things. You know what? Let's talk about carrying capacity. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Okay, because so I got this email. A couple people. It's been going on. I've gotten it off and on, but people want to know how come it is some DMs care about how much you carry and others could care less. Okay. And once again, that's like a dungeon master to dungeon master kind of thing. It's a guideline. There aren't rules for it, guidelines. When I say rules, I really mean guidelines, okay? But it's to keep people from like in some cartoons and animations, you see one guy, he's carrying like 25 swords and he's got like 3 suits of armor and
Right.
5 bags hanging over here, 2 quivers of arrows, 3. It's just crazy.
Right. Because some people just want to break the system. They just want to go into a village, find as much work as they can, try to trade for everything, try to persuade everything, try to steal everything that they can, and then they end up with 100 different things that they're supposedly just walking around with, and you're like, I don't believe
Come
you.
on in. It's all good.
I was gonna pee.
Oh, well, go ahead. You're live, by the way.
Oh,
I don't think they can hear you.
The
You're
things
good.
we do
You're
to
good.
people.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry, gang, but yeah, that's a good point. That's really nice. Yeah, the collective has always had these books. I just want everybody to know that even players, you can use the player's handbook. When you
Yeah.
come in to build your character in that, it's okay. They're here. It's really nice.
So item weight
but-
is you can either just completely disregard it, or you can solve it by saying you have like some type of bag of holding. You can have
Yeah.
people that have horses or buggies or
Oh gosh, we're not even gonna talk about
You
that.
know,
That's actually part of
crazy
today's
things.
discussion about like horses, buggies, and
we'll get to
such.
that.
Horses, buggies, and
Mechanics.
oxen. Oh my!
Right.
And goblins.
That
Goblins.
Just
Anyway, all right.
my horde of goblin slaves that carry all my things.
All right, so no, but that's a good point. So how do you handle that in your game? So you're a DM. How do you handle it?
So I make a bag of holding just a standard item that you get when you make your character.
Wait, so I make my character. I get this bag of
You
holding.
just get one. Pick your favorite color. It can be anything. It can be like we were talking about, a backpack, a rucksack, a side bag.
Yeah, I remember playing in your game. I didn't get no bag of holding. I had 2 characters, and neither one got a bag of holding. What's up with that?
I might have just forgotten. I was just starting as a DM.
What?
I was a
Where's the
baby
love?
DM. I didn't even know what I was doing, and he's giving me shit. Every time.
Goblins.
Goblins.
We're not talking about goblins right now. Later.
So John invests in so many goblins. Yes,
Yes, baby.
because he wants them to carry all of his things.
That's right. You never know which sword I might need.
Everyone gets a bag of holding.
A
at
bag
the
of holding.
Beginning of my game,
For real?
and for real.
Wow.
Anything you want. It could be a fanny pack. It can be, Pikachu shaped backpack. I don't care. It's fine. Have one.
Now, see, okay, so that's what you do.
So you can carry up to 500 pounds.
Okay.
Nobody so far has attempted to abuse that system because everyone understands that it's a very generous thing.
Yeah, it
To
is.
one, conserve time because you don't have to worry about it. Conserve mental energy because you're not constantly thinking and doing math about it. So nobody has so far tried to,
Break the
stick
system.
entire people in there, or just
Although you
go
can,
crazy.
but we'll leave
Right.
it at that. But talking about that, okay, so a bag of holding carries 500 pounds. I think it weighs like 15 pounds. All that 500 pounds only weighs 15. So a couple of bags of those, and wow, you're good to go, right? You should never. If every player has one, I get it. My game is not so generous. I do have them keep track of weight, but I either somehow provide somebody with a bag, because at first level, believe it or not, you really don't have a lot of extra stuff.
Anything.
You know,
You're
you
just
got-
a regular person.
You got your gear that you started with,
Mhm.
and a couple of extra pieces, maybe of something. So a character might in their background, I'm going to talk about a little about background, might have put something in there where their parents were adventurers, and I might give them, you have a bag, I know.
I have a bag of holding. That's
But
what Sarah
So
said.
I might give the character, if they're adventurers, parents were adventurous. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure they had an extra bag, so they may give it to their offspring and say, "Here, this will get you going." That may be
Right.
their come of age present or something,
Yeah.
or they may have done on their travels with the merchant or something. The merchant may have been very generous and had that bag and said, this is a bag. It's old. It's been here forever. I'm not quite sure what it is here. You can have it. It holds stuff. He might just give it to them as a gift, as a special gift for something they did. You can do whatever for background. I think backgrounds are really important, both for the DM and for the players, because it allows them to do things like that. Now Donna's very generous. She gives everybody a background holding. That's not going to work for me. You're gonna do something for it.
Standard equipment. Just you have one.
You're gonna write a background or something in your history that got you that, and I'm okay with that. It may be, but then again, on a different note, if you write a background and it doesn't really, a background wouldn't be appropriate, you might end up with one of those pouches that you flip over. It's got like 4 or 5 potions in it. Hey, bud, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Antonio made it.
So, you might get a pouch with a bunch of different potions on it. You might get scrolls. You might get something. In my game, we have ancestral weapons, but we ain't even going to get into all that. Let's just say that according to your background, you will get something. But the other catch is you don't have a choice because you have to write a background in my game. So there is that. But that's me. Remember, that's my game, totally different than her game, which is totally different than the next person's. All right. So that's important.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about the actual situation of carrying capacity. Okay. So in general, everything you carry weighs something. Your armor, your sheet, your belt pouch, and then the belt pouch itself can carry so much in it, or a backpack.
Right before that rips out.
Correct.
It's just your stuff has to start all over in something else.
Yep. If your DM wants you to do that, then it's their prerogative whether or not they want you to keep track of it.
And it might be a mechanic in their game. Maybe they want you to consider coin weight because you've got to consider
50 coins, 1 pound.
If you're going to be walking through a dusty, musty town and somebody decides to be a cut purse, is that what
Cut
it's
purse,
called?
yeah.
Yeah, and try to just take your purse off. Are you going to notice because all of a sudden that weight isn't there? Are people going to realize that you have
That's a
lots
good
of
point.
coins
See,
because they're jingling on their
that's
way
right.
through town?
Now, see, that's very interesting, and that gets into mechanics on when you're trying to pick pockets and when you're trying to do a cut purse and grab somebody's pouch and stuff.
Yeah.
Is when they notice you? It's not so much that they saw you do it. It's that you have 50 coins in it. That's a pound. You have 200 coins. Now it's 2 pounds, and all of a sudden 2 pounds is missing on your side. But anyway, that's a totally different mechanic. But I'm glad you brought it up that way.
That can be, especially for people that have played older versions of D&D, I think that's more important than like in my current game, which is more like futuristic and they have like warships and flying ships and all kinds of crazy stuff. I feel like it's slightly less of a concern.
True. I can see that.
So it just depends on also just the campaign itself. If I was playing in an older setting of campaign, a more medieval time style, I think I would consider it more important.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then kind of jumping off of that, so that's players. For all of you who've asked that question, it's really up to you. You really should ask. And DMs, I kind of come back to you on this. When you establish a game, remember that session 0. I think before there's even a session 0, or you can include it in your session 0, is explain to the players certain mechanics in the game. Okay, hey gang, I need you to keep track of what's in your backpack and what's in your. You got to let them know these things because they're not going to know. They don't know anything. Some of them have sat down for the first time. They don't know. They don't even know how much a coin weighs. In fact, you'll get that question a lot. And by the way, yes, it's 50 coins equals 1 pound. Excuse me. All right, so that's that. So there's that. Now, let's move on to what you brought up about buggies and oxen and horses online.
Horses and goats and your goblin horde that's carrying all your
No, forget the goblin. Leave the goblins alone. Oh my gosh. The
Come
joke
on.
of the day is the poor goblin.
If it was a common
Wait.
mechanic, you would 100%.
Remember,
have
do
a
you know,
goblin.
I want y'all to remember something. In original D&D, a horde of goblins was 40 to 400. Handle that at 10th level.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
like it so much.
40 to 400. 400 goblins. Have fun
Imagine
with
having
that.
400 miniatures. My head would explode.
Close. I'm close.
Okay. Well,
Anyway, so forget the goblins and convertible wagons
Easy.
and convertible.
Convertible wagons.
Alrighty then, convertible wagons. I
Covered
love it.
wagons.
I can see it now. Magically, goblins, goblins, and goblins of mine. All right,
Yes.
let's get on with the back to the wagons. All right, so
Okay.
here's something that's interesting.
Mhm.
And the question I got was, what are we supposed to do? There was a situation that happened in the Fandelver campaign. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but because I don't know if somebody's going to be running the Fandelver campaign, but you do, and everybody knows this, you do have a wagon and horses in that game that you have to transfer from point A to point B. That's the whole gist of it. Now, something happened to their wagon because they went off the beaten path and did something else with it. Okay. It was left unattended and somebody got to it. They didn't know that could happen, but yes, it's all, everything in the game is a part of the game. So if you buy, most parties get smart. They do. They buy a wagon, horses, oxen. I'd rather have oxen and horses because they can pull things. They're a little slower, but they're a lot stronger and they can pull things up
Right.
a lot easier than horses. That's just me.
Yeah.
Although there are pack horses. Your
Move
choices.
Faster across terrain. You can move over rougher terrain
Yep.
easier.
But what do you do with it? Okay, so
Right.
my party, the party that's going in your dungeon has a cart with
Right.
2 oxen and they're all riding horses. They're going into the dungeons of doom. What are they supposed to do? What do they do with the horses? What happens to all that so they brought the wagon, they brought 4 or 5 horses. Now what?
So if they decide, it depends on what if the party does. If they are like, we just leave the horses outside and go in, and they think nothing more of it, I'm gonna make some pretty like crappy DC checks for your horses to see if they survive.
Oh no!
Well, you
And
guys
then
are
what?
gone.
And when they come back out, what might have happened?
They could be eaten by wolves. They could be stolen. They could be taken by goblins. They could be
Why
No,
goblins?
just-
I told you leave the goblins out of things.
absolutely not. Orcs maybe got them. And
Okay,
ate them.
orcs, I can see that.
Anything.
Goblins though?
You know, maybe the horses just broke their leads and ran off.
Right. Depending on how long they're down there for, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you're going down to a dungeon overnight, your horses don't stand a chance. My recommendation, if they ask, is if you have no other options, at least try to find a clearing. Roll for investigation to see what woods are nearby that are safe, and check for animal tracks, and find ways to hide and cover up. You know, if you have like a ranger, maybe they can build up some kind of shelter for them. Traps around your horses. That
So we're
they
gonna start
won't fall
using
into
skills. Now we're gonna start
themselves.
using skills,
Right.
The
So
survival skills and all
Maybe
that.
druids can use some of their druid magic to bring up
Oh,
different
yeah. Wall of thorns and all
Wall
kinds.
of thorns.
And what's that other one that the plant growth that makes it hard to pass through? What is that one? You're a druid. Come on, druid. We're gonna talk about that later. I like the way she does it.
Yeah, that one's in here somewhere.
It's first level.
It should be, right?
It is. It's an entangle.
Entangle.
So, I mean, I don't know how long those spells last for. I mean, some of them last a good time.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, entangle I think lasts like a full hour, so you've got some time to cast that, and maybe even if you had like a modification, like
At higher levels, it would be
that
nice.
spell modification that you can kind of force your spells to wrap around things, or
Yeah, the
I
think that's a warlock thing though, and a sorcerer.
is it okay?
I think so. I think that's a sorcerer.
Probably.
But you guys see where she's going with this, okay? You got to really think
Plan
outside
ahead.
the box.
Yeah, pocket dimension. That Something.
At first, I can see this. At first level, we're gonna pocket dimension something.
we're just gonna real quick.
How about we
steal a pocket
teleport them
dimension.
back? Let's just teleport
There
them
you
back.
go.
Yeah.
Open up a portal, send them home.
Just open up a portal.
Just open up a portal.
You know what? Hire yourself an NPC wizard that has the portal spell, right? Have him travel with you, and then have him teleport with everything back to his place.
There you go.
Where's his place?
Easy peasy.
Where's
Who
his place
knows?
at? Oh, who knows? Exactly.
Either way, you lose your horse.
Anyway, okay, now we kind of went down the side path, but you guys see what I'm getting at. So DMs, once again, this is something else, and I put this on the DMs because you got to let your players know. Look, what are you gonna do with the horses? Most of them, and I guess that's what happened. They didn't even ask, and then they came back and all their stuff was gone and the horses were dead. But
Yeah.
ask them, what do you guys? Okay, you're at the Dungeon of Doom. What are you gonna do with your horses? What are you gonna do with the cart? How are you gonna protect it?
Yeah.
Give them. That's a nice role playing moment. Like, and I'm not gonna go into any of it because Donna did a sorcerer. There we go. It's a saucer.
A saucer.
A saucer. I have the
Yes,
weekly
the
D&D
sauce.
joke. Oh, here we go. Sarah's, what do you call a caster who makes candy condiments? A
Oh.
saucer. Okay. Okay.
We read it the wrong way.
Yeah, we
From
did. Oh,
bottom to
boy.
top. Oh well, we
It's one
tried.
of those moments. So
Oh,
okay, so
man.
that kind of so everybody kind of be aware that you do have to protect your investments, and horses and carts and wagons oh my are quite an investment. So make sure, okay, maybe not at first level because I don't see you buying this stuff at first level anyway. All these horses aren't cheap, neither are oxen. But eventually, here's a simple something: hire a couple of NPCs as guards.
Yeah.
And bring them with you. They don't have to ever go in the dungeon with you. But the cool thing is, and there's a lot of mechanics to that, how they level up and stuff with you and blah, blah, blah. And if they become your followers or whatever. That's all a
Betray
DM
you
thing.
and kill the horses anyways. And
Exactly. But here's the cool thing is that you have somebody to protect it. Now the DM can go, oh, well, they're protecting it. Yeah, there was a little scuffle. Maybe one of them got hurt, this, that, the other. And that's the end of it. Okay. At first level, if you're doing it, it's a totally different story. Try some spells, try some traps if you have a ranger or even a druid. I think a druid would be able to set them. A barbarian usually has survival to set traps.
Get a good rogue.
Well, yeah, a rogue would use he could do it too. Although their traps are a little different, right?
Yeah.
You know that, right? Okay. Sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing, but not really.
All right. Get a barbarian to dig a trench around.
There you go.
horses.
Hey, no, there's nothing wrong with that. If you really
Right.
want to protect them, there you go.
Be creative. This
Exactly.
is a game of imagination where a bunch of 30 and 40-year-olds get together.
Well, there's like 12 and 15-year-olds too that play now. What
That
about
is
them?
true. That is true. I feel like that. Yeah, actually, there's a 19-year-old at our table too. There's a couple young guys.
Your son plays.
Occasionally.
How old is he?
11.
So see, 11-year-olds can play too. Okay.
Absolutely.
Don't let her kid you.
But yeah, I'm just saying, you use
Yeah.
your imagination. I know it's hard as an adult to come up with crazy imaginary things, imagination-y things, words. I don't have them, but I'm trying anyways. So it's just hard to come up with this kind of stuff because you're not used to exercising that creative part of your brain like you did when you were a kid. So it's kind of fun to kind of try things out and get back into it, kind of get back into the swing of just coming up with cool ideas and stuff like that.
I had to do that Wednesday, boy. But anyway, we're not even talk about that yet. Let's talk about, since we were talking about druids, let's talk about, so last week, Antonio gave us a really good insight into the warlock. We kind of touched into the sorcerer and the wizard, and we really talked about them. And then we kind of like briefly mentioned the the cleric and the druid. But today, Donna has played a druid quite a few times, and she's kind of pretty well versed on it. And so she's going to kind of go over a couple things that's, Christina said that's a good point. It is a good point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
So,
Once in a while. Hey.
no, so let's talk about the druid. So let's talk about druids.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. They are the nature priests, as they call them. But they're a force to be reckoned with, yeah?
Absolutely. I think they are one of the most
Alphabetical
underrated
order would be somewhere like around right there.
frontish. Did you flip straight to it? No. Okay.
Quite.
Almost.
Close,
there
close.
it is.
I was
Very
close. I
close.
was off by a little. There we go.
Okay, perfect. Right, so it's amazing because right at second level you got wild shape. And depending on what circle what druid circle you join, you can be all kinds of things. You can be infernal, so get some really crazy what's it called? The Underdark,
Yes.
crazy creatures and giant scorpions and all who knows. Crazy stuff.
Whatever your DM lets you get away with.
Right. I did for my personal druid it's Circle of the Moon. So you get to be giant animals right off the bat.
Yeah. The
And
second level bear.
Pretty quickly, within a few levels, you get to be flying creatures as well.
I mean, it depends on hit dice. Don't let it, you're not going to become a dragon, okay, everybody?
No,
But there
I meant
are
like-
other creatures other than dragons
I
that
meant
fly.
like a bird.
They're immediately thinking,
A bat.
ooh, I can turn into a dragon.
Yay, I'm a dragon now. An ostrich that flies. No. within reason.
Oh, and by the way, talking about the ostrich because of the
Uh-oh.
movie, the
Uh-oh.
D&D movie, remember?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go through. I'm just going to touch on this and then I'm going to give it back over to you. But so in the movie, what they did with that druid, she went through a lot of different changes. You saw boom, 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 shape changes, right? They were just kind of giving you an idea of what's possible. They wanted to really, because it's hard to, and I can see in the director's mind what they were trying to do. They wanted to give you a taste of from the little to the big. The big, of course, being the owlbear and the little being the mouse. And how every shape has, even the fly. I mean, everything. Everything has a purpose. Okay? It's not like, don't dismiss it. Oh, who wants to turn into a fly? But look at what she found out as a fly. She used the little the rat to escape through little holes. You know, the deer to jump around. I mean, come on. And it was a good joke, because of her turning into a deer. And then, of course, the owlbear to fight it. And the bird to fly. I mean, there's just a lot of cool things that you can do with that. They have nothing to do with combat. Everything's combat, but there's a lot of situations in the game that have nothing to do with combat that would be an awesome thing to be. Have you ever heard of that? I'd love to have been the fly on the wall. Well, as a druid in a wild shape, you could be.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Really, you really could. You could get some really great information if there's situations where you need to get intel before you go into a big war or something. If you're trying to figure out, I don't know, if somebody's a liar, if you're trying to figure out if you can trust somebody and you don't have like good perception rolls or something, you can do quite a lot.
Insights. Yeah, you can put somebody in there. You can fly up into their room and just listen to their conversations. Wow.
Right.
I hope they don't have one of those red wizards that they in the room with them.
Seriously.
The red wizards that they are no joke, by the way. They really are just as bad as the movie showed them to be. But anyway, so back to wild shapes.
Wild shapes are awesome. I was looking to see where they increased, but like in the movie, she wild shapes I think like 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
And you
it's
can
7,
do that at like I want to say like 15th level or something. So when you see that movie, they are higher level
Yes.
characters. They
Lowest
are
level
not-
characters, I
they're
think
not
15th
first
or
level.
16th. Yeah, they're not first level characters, gang.
Yeah.
Those characters all on average are like 15th, 16th level. Some I think were 17th. So yes.
And I like how many spell slots you get as a druid. It really quickly goes from like 2 and then to 3 at 4th level. And then you get 3 cantrips, 4, it goes first level you have 2, second level you have 3, third level you have 4, and then it goes, you start getting your second level and third level spell slots. So you get tons and tons of spells you can use. It's also, if you play it correctly, you choose at the beginning of the day which spells you want to have for the day. So you actually know all of your spells. You just need to pick which ones are available
Like a wizard.
to you. Right.
Like a wizard and cleric. Remember, the sorcerer's really the only one that's the off the hip kind of shooter.
Yes.
He's the gunslinger of the group
right.
with
It's
spells.
Mostly what he can memorize and what he has items available for, which
Yeah.
is a really cool.
But yeah, I
ability
mean,
as well.
so and I think that one of the cool things is one of the circles you can have animals with you. You have
Yes.
animals that run around with you.
Animal companions.
Yeah, so I mean, depending on how you want to play this character, there's a whole, just a lot of different avenues, what they call circles. A lot of different circles that you can touch it. There's how many, two or three in here? What are there?
For different circles.
No, yeah, what do they have for circles? They have the
They have Druid Circle that explains their Circle of the Land,
Circle of the Land,
Moon,
Circle of the Moon, and then
and I think that's all they have in this book. But if you go online, you can get
well, let's
huge
forget about
lists.
online. I mean, because online, God knows what's out there. But in the other books, in the other source books, there's a lot more. I think there's like a total of like
Yeah.
8 or 9 actual circles.
Oh,
Now,
here's the right here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
and this is the circles of the land have like 8 sub circles
Right.
inside of it.
And then you can do Circle of the Moon. That's on this page.
Right.
So that's how that works. So you have like 9 options in here already.
That's pretty wild.
That's a good amount of options. So that will give you different types of
Spells.
spells.
Is that what that is? Spells.
Yeah. Different types of spells. So it'll tell you your circle spells that you get at each different level. So 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th, you get different circle spells.
Kind of like the cleric with their domains. They get now. Remember, these aren't like Antonio made a really good point. These spells aren't in addition to. These are other spells that you can choose
That are
other
available to
than
you.
what you have.
Right.
You still only get to choose cast X amount of spells, but you can now have more of a choice of what type of spells depending on your circle, which is really neat. Okay, so that's really cool. The druid, and a lot of people look at the druid as kind of like you're supposed to be like a second healer, but they're actually a pretty
They
multi-talented.
can tank. They can absolutely
Yeah,
tank.
I mean, when you turn into a giant, what is it, a giant wolf or giant bear,
Oh, yeah.
or giant spider. I've seen people
Giant.
turn into spiders.
Yes.
At second level, wolves. What else is there?
There are giant spiders, giant bears, giant wolves. You can be a giant octopus. You can be
So if you're in a water
in a
campaign or
water
near a lake,
situation.
there you go.
That will really help out. However, you have to base your animals that you can change into based off of your own personal history of what animals you have seen. So if you were in a desert situation, you've seen lizards and scorpions and hawks and
You turn into a giant scorpion.
tarantulas and stuff. Right. If you were in a forest situation, it'd be different. If you were in
In the water.
in
On
the
a boat.
water, right? If you were coastal, it would be different. So you have to be, within reason. You can't just be like all of the animals are available to me on any planet, anywhere. You have to have like a specific background. with
That's
specific
good.
animals.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we covered everything we needed to cover today because we went a little longer than I figured we would, but that's okay because I wanted to get to the druid because I think the druid is a really cool class that if played right can really be a great asset
It's a lot of
to a party. So
Do we?
we've gone over a lot of stuff today. I know, but that was the whole purpose of today because I've got to ask a lot of things, especially, and a lot of it's little stuff that you don't really think about, like where my horse is going to do, how much can I carry, what can I carry it in. So, and in particular, players. Now that when you see this, ask your DM, look, what can we do? Are we supposed to keep track of our weight? Kind of like a general idea of what's in our stuff. Or are we going to have to do like the math and all that goes along with it? And some DMs will say yes. Some will say, no, let's do it this way. Some will give you a bag of holding so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a bag of holding. Whatever color you want, deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes it just really depends on what your DM is even comfortable with. So starting off, you might not be comfortable having to have people track all of that. If you have a lot of new players, maybe it's just going to be easier for you to not have to track all of that.
That's a good point.
If it's going to be pointless because your game has absolutely no,
You could care less about the
right,
weights.
no mechanics that's going to involve weights at all. Maybe it's just not something that you want to bother with.
Exactly.
It's up to you. And if you really want to be a stickler for it, be a stickler for it. It's okay.
It's your game.
Right. It's
All
your
right.
game.
So with that
Play it
being
the way you
said,
wanna- that's most fun for you.
for you,
Right.
it's
Well,
giving bags of holding, so you got to do it.
for
I
everyone.
love it. All right. So anyway, from Donna and myself, John, may the royal rise up to meet your feet, and may all your adventures be ever successful. So this is us from John's Dungeon Corner saying to you, see you next week. All right. Have fun. We had a good time with you. Thanks for
Thanks
watching.
for watching. Love you. Bye.